Live from our studios on Caraba Avenue. Good evening, viewers, from wherever you're watching us from. It's good to be back to yet another edition of QTV Youth Dialogue, and I am your host, Julden Jai. Last week, I had with me Lala Toure, who is the Deputy Executive Director of the National Youth Service Scheme. And of course, I had Mariama Cham, who is an artist, to talk about generally their 2025 and of course some of the achievements, challenges and the activities that they've been embarking on as far as 2025 was concerned, but also their plans for 2026. This evening, I am joined by Modu Sise, who is a Bagwe returnee, a teacher and a poet. We are going to talk about his journey in Bagwe, but before his journey as well, who was he as an individual, and also what were some of his aspirations. So, good evening, Mr. Sise. Should I say Mr. Sise?
No, that's Modu Sise.
How are you?
Good evening to you. I'm fine indeed.
Okay.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much for honoring my invitation to come here.
Sure.
So let's start the conversation proper. Before the issue of Bagwe, before the issue of smuggling came in, before the issue of the trucks and everything, who was Modu Sise?
Well, before the entire Bagwe journey, I was somebody who was very much interested in pursuing my education and then pursuing a dream of being a journalist anyway.
Oh, okay.
And fast moving forward, I continue going to school, and from there I graduated. Upon graduation, I go to the Gambia College, and then alongside I venture into poetry, performing poems, writing poems, shooting videos, and as well raising awareness on irregular migration, mentoring young people. This is what I have been doing before going to Bagwe as an individual.
Okay, let me get this straight. Mentoring, teaching about young people about irregular migration.
Exactly.
This happened before you embarked on this journey?
Yes, I even have.
What were you teaching these youngsters?
Well, I was inspired by saddened by the boat incident, the Bara, 2019 boat incident. Okay. And then that is where I began writing about irregular migration. To me, at the time, I see it as something that young people need to be trained about. Another time, it was the COVID-19. I was able to mobilize young children, talk to them about irregular migration. By the time, I didn't face the challenges that propelled me to go to the journey. So to me at the time, I was more of teaching the young people not to embark on irregular migration, knowing fully well the dangers that happen in their areas.
Okay. Well, okay, this is interesting. Okay, you are someone who write poems about irregular migration, but also you also teach young people about the dangers associated with irregular migration.
Exactly.
But still you embarked on this journey. But before that, what have you always wanted to be? Because you did mention that you wanted to be a journalist.
Exactly.
What happened to that dream?
Well, the dream faded away when I embarked on the journey and returned. What I see there, I built interest in more of governance, policies and programs and the effects that it has on communities. So when I return home, the challenges that I see people face there, most of them who are African migrants, I believe I built more interest in that particular area, and the dream of journalism fade away. So this is how it fade away anyway, and then I'm more into political science now as a first UTG student.
MashaAllah, that's unfortunate though. I just hope that we can also inspire you for your dream of journalism to actually come back so that we can have more journalists in the field. But talk to us at the personal level. Talk to us about who you are as an individual growing up. What is your background like? What was it like?
Well, anyway, my background is more of Jokadu. I was born and brought up in Kisemajo village, Jokadu district, North Bank region of the Gambia. From there, I grew up going to school and then went to SEU. During that time, I was in Bara SEU, going to school. During that young age, I decided to venture into fishing. There were fishermen who were around our area. And when they're going to fishing, they always take us along. And then when we come back, I normally have some, amount of money from there. So alongside during my upper basic school, this is what I have been doing as an individual. At the time, I built more interest in, being a fisherman because I explore with them the rivers, and then we go to fishing up to Senegal. So this is what I, of course, yes.
Wow.
So this was what I do at that very moment. And then, yeah, but my dream has always been journalism throughout my school career.
But how has it been for you when you were fishing? How was the fishing industry then?
Well, it was very amazing because to me it was more of the joy and then the curiosity to explore the river with them, going from one place to another, catching different fish, traveling, from one place to another, staying there for 1 month, sometimes weeks before coming back home. Okay. So to me, this is what exactly was the pleasure that I get from venturing into that aspect of it at my youngest age.
And you used to catch big fishes?
Of course, we do catch big fish, and I can remember my latest, the last time I embarked on it was in 2021. We stayed at Lamen Lodge, going to fishing, in different part of the river, coming back there for over a month. So this is what I've been doing before. And as I continue growing up, I completed I graduated in 2018. And upon that graduation, basically I went to the Gambia College. And as the COVID-19 come forward, I built interest in poetry, and I started writing poems. I shoot videos on poetry, and there's a special video that I even dedicated to the boat incident 2019. It's available on YouTube, and I feature young children there.
Wow.
So this is what I have been doing before. I have always believed in my talent as a poet, that I will use to change the mentality of young people and contribute positively to the development of the country. As it was going, challenges also started rising. As a young individual talented who want to use poetry to inspire and also contribute to society, there are a lot of challenges that came along the way. So basically, those are some of the things that I also face, but it's something that I've been doing before. Poetry, fishing, and then venturing into youthful activities or community services. And
you were content with that? You were happy?
Exactly. It was my source of joy. At the time, I didn't used to do anything, but always wherever you see me, I'm around children, helping them, guiding them to do poetry, to write poetry, recite poems, taking them from one program to another, for them to at least build that interest of reading and writing, and using writing to positively contribute to their country.
So the 2019 incident that you wrote a poem about, what really stood out for you in that incident?
Well, it is the people that I knew, some that I live with in the same community. Others were my fellow students when I was in Bara SL, and others were people I knew. So some of them lost their lives in this journey. And this is what really motivated me to say, okay, I think I have to advocate to save more lives from this irregular migration, not knowing that one day I will become a victim.
But again, this is really surprising to me. At the same time, because I can't really draw a line between, okay, you advocating against irregular migration or creating awareness about irregular migration, and you also being a victim of it. How does that happen? What really prompted you to really embark on this journey? What really went wrong?
Well, as the advocacy continues, using poetry, I need a lot of support to at least continue doing so with young people. At the time, with my friend, we have 150 students at SLA, and we wanted to help all those people. But at the time also, when I was advocating against this irregular migration, though there were challenges, but at the time I was a student, most of these challenges, were not around, or I faced them, but I believe that, okay, hence I am a student. When I complete schooling, go to the Gambia College, when I have a job, I think the challenges that push young people to go to the irregular migration will not happen to me. As time goes on, and I began to dream bigger, wanted to acquire university education. After exploring all means to get a scholarship, to secure a scholarship to go to the University of the Gambia, they all proved futile. And at the time, despite working, the little I earned could not enable me to accomplish my dream, help my family, at the same time sponsor for my education. So I feel like if I continue, how long will I continue this job, at the same time dreaming of going to the university? When even a student that I teach, I see them going to the university, coming back. So what is keeping me here?
Where were you teaching?
I taught at Model Senior Secondary School.
Okay.
I taught at this place, SAU Senior Secondary School, as a TT, and at Abuko Upper Basic School as a voluntary teacher.
Okay. So were you the breadwinner of your family?
Not absolutely breadwinner. I have brothers and sisters, but then I have to also contribute.
Right.
Knowing the background I come from, financially we are not up to that level, and we have only our mom and dad who were helping us to acquire education. And as we come to Gambia College, you know, old age started to come in, and we have to take their responsibilities.
Right. So how was it like getting, you know, sponsorship or for people to actually get to support your education? How far did you go to actually get scholarship?
Basically, I have tried to get a scholarship. I have applied to MRC Holland by the time, and I've also visited the Ministry of Higher Education at the time, and then to inquire about opportunities. I will also be told applications will be opened. Right. So with all those things, I was not lucky to benefit from them, and this is basically where I stopped. I always believe that, okay, maybe if I continue exploring other means, I can get it. But I visited many institutions. I write letters, but all those ones, there's no response. And basically, I believe that I think this is not the place that will enable me to achieve the dream of university education.
Yeah. So is that the reason why you embarked on this backward journey?
Well, yes, education was the
or was it part of the reasons?
It's the main reason, I can say. Others were somehow personal, family matters. But then the main reason that I embarked on the journey is university education. Because I graduated from the Gambia College, I taught for a while, and now want to further my education. I didn't have the opportunity. So I believe that, well, after exploring all areas, everywhere I have hope on, everything fade away. At the same time, also at some point, I had the opportunity to have a scholarship from abroad, and then all those 3 scholarship fields. Some of them were fully funded scholarship, others were partially funded scholarship.
Oh, you had 3, okay, you had scholarships to study abroad.
Exactly.
But what went wrong? Why didn't you go?
Well, for one of them, my visa was rejected, which is the last one. Okay. The other one, I need accreditation from a recommendation from the government, which was that of the Kazakhstan and Brunei, so I could not get them. So this is how the opportunities fade away. And those ones, they all fall within the same 3 months at the time, coupling with the university waiting for me, which I already know it is about to open, but still now, what can I do about it? There's no thing that I can do because I cannot pay for myself. So all these things happen at a very short period of time is what propelled me more to embark on the journey. I can say it's what sparked my desire to leave the Gambia with the hope of reaching Europe and then furthering my education down there.
So you had you applied for 3 universities.
Exactly.
And all 3 of the universities accepted you. And you had 2 where you got fully funded scholarships in these universities. But then you could not get the letter.
Exactly.
From the government?
Yes, one of them was from the government. The other one, like the embassy, was in Morocco, which is the Kazakhstan and Egypt.
Right.
And then I have to travel there if I want to apply for a visa.
Right.
And even when I was in the journey, I was saying like probably maybe when I travel up to Algeria or if I travel up to Libya, I can find a way to get to Egypt. When I can find a way to get to Egypt, and maybe probably from there I will be able to reach the embassy and then at least book an appointment. This was something that was also in my mind, but the main focus was heading to...
So without that letter, you could not go?
No, without that letter...
Is that the only option?
Well, that was...
Because you're serving in government, right? Is that the reason?
Come again?
Because you were working in government schools.
Not, I can say that was not, because that may not be the only reason, because for them they needed like the foreign affairs to at least give me a recommendation, because I went through all their interview.
Okay.
So they only needed that stage of it to complete it for the Brunei. For the Kazakhstan, that one I needed to at least go outside the Gambia to apply for a scholarship. So if I apply for a visa for a US embassy, that one was rejected at the last minute.
Last minute, okay. Wow. So now let us now look at your journey.
Exactly.
How has it been like for you? Where did you get the funds to actually go in the first place? Because you did mention that you don't have the money. to go to the university, that was the reason why you applied for universities abroad with the hope that, you know, you will one day go there and study. Where did you get the money to embark on this journey?
Well, from the Gambia to Mali, I was having a laptop and I sold my laptop, I sold my mobile phone and the important articles, and then I bought a ticket and went to Mali. Then along the journey, at some point, even though the family cannot or don't have the money, I don't know where they get it from, but they have to try to save me from one place to another. But most of the time, at some part of the journey, I was being held by colleagues that I moved with in the journey, knowing fully well that we all Gambians, we help each other. Sometimes some will be send money and they'll be able to pay and have some remaining part of it. So this is what sometimes we accumulate and give it to somebody in our team who can move with us from one place to another. So this is how I was able to move from one place to another. At some point, my family do send me money, but I know automatically it is not something that they have. But inquiring about how they get the money traumatizes me. So this is why I did not even ask anyone, how were you able to support me at some point of it? But most of the support also come from colleagues within the journey.
So, okay, before that Bagwe, how did you get to know that there is a boat about to embark on this journey? How did you, how were you in contact with these smugglers?
All right, for me, I did not use the 7 days. I used the by land from here to Tunisia. I was not in contact with any agent, not anybody. But what I know is that I have been so much aware of irregular migration because I've been working with Youth Against Irregular Migration. They have been mentoring me. There were recons there who founded an organization in Libyan prison, came back home and then started to advocate against irregular migration. So I know a lot about irregular migration. I do a lot of research. But at the time when I was going, I didn't have any contact with anybody. I just take my bag and then pay my ticket and then go to Mali. From there, immediately at the bus stop there, at the garage, I met with other Gambians. When I asked them, where are you going? They also tell me we are going to Barkway. Then I said, I think we are in the same mission. Then that's how I joined them. Then they also knew somebody who is an agent. And then that's how they take me to their agent. And from that agent, we moved from one place to another.
Which year was this?
Basically, it was in 2023.
2020, that is 2 years ago.
Exactly.
So prior to going to this Bagwe, did you notify any family member? Did you inform anyone in your family that you have plans to embark on this journey?
No. Basically, like we always have slogan among us. Anybody who wants to go to Bagwe really means it, will not discuss it with anybody.
Okay.
You have to just wake up and go. So for me, what I did not inform my family. I just have to spend a whole long night writing everything that I wanted them to know about me, where I am going, what I leave behind, what are the small, loans that I may have, and who are the people that I would like them to approach, provided that I did not make it in the journey. So I had a whole lengthy note that I keep somewhere where I know that maybe one day, if I reach or I haven't reached, somebody will go over my materials and will see the note and know that yes, this is where I go to. So this is how I just left the Gambia.
Wow, that must have been a lot of thought and psychological issue going on at the time. But let's now talk about the conflicting thoughts in your mind. Okay, in one hand, you're someone who are advocating against irregular migration. You are writing poems, you are inspiring people, you are actually teaching youngsters about this journey. And in another hand, you have this pressure from your family, from society, about education and all of that, your desire to actually make things better for your family, but for yourself as well.
Exactly.
How was the thoughts like? What conflicting thoughts do you have at the time?
Well, at the beginning, I always have hope. But at the last minute, I said, I think I need to further my education alongside serving. So at that very moment, it was very conflicting because I would say, okay, now how long will I continue at this same level? Not being able to further my education, not being able to acquire something meaningful that I can be able to change my life with. So when I, remember all those past years, I don't see any major improvement, not academically, which is my main concern. For the family-wise, I have no pressure from them because they don't expect me at the time to produce, to at least be able to provide everything for them. Yeah. But to me, my pressure was education only. Okay. I wanted to go to, university. I want to further my education, and that's all. So it was a conflicting moment at that time, right, because I am somebody who always against it. And today, what many people that I speak to will tell me that these are the problems we face. But to me, I believe they can manage this problem. For me, after going through all those particular problems, I just have to wake up one day and say, you know what, let me explore this journey and see whether my luck will be there. Hence, there are people who make it, others did not make it, but then let me just explore it and go. So despite
all the horror thing that you hear and deaths, the number of deaths and everything, you still believe that maybe you can make it.
Yeah, for sure.
So tell me now that you are in the journey, you went to Mali. Tell me, how was your experience like? What did you encounter during your journey?
I think I will just take some of the most difficult part of the journey. From the Gambia to Mali, my main problem was checkpoints. They will ask us to pay money. Despite having my ECOWAS passport with me, every checkpoint I have to be stopped, and I will be told to pay about 5,000 CFA. And then fast moving forward, we went to Mali. From Senegal to Bamako, most of the problems that I faced were more of checkpoints asking me to pay money. And in Mali, I moved from Bamako, we moved to a place we call Mopti. Between that also, checkpoint was a problem. Okay. But one of the major problems that I faced the first time that I really regretted going to the journey, and that I already say my final prayers, was a time when we were on a boat from Sevari heading to Timbuktu using the river Niger. Rebels ambushed us in the river.
Wow.
Take all of us down because we were 200 people in that boat that was traveling from Sevari heading to Timbuktu. So they capture us and then they ask us to pay money. For me, basically, I have a little amount of money with me with somebody there with me. So I said, if I pay this one, I cannot even be able to continue the journey. And it is not even enough for what they're asking for. So I just have to come out from the boat and then they will just demand a lot of ransom from us. Those who pay, they'll take them back to the boat. Those of us who don't pay, they try to threaten us again and again. Until the last minute, we were about 10 of us who did not pay. And what they did was they tell the boat to continue because we already alighted.
You behind.
Yes, we already alighted in a kind of a Swami island inside the river. We alighted. And then from there, they beat us and threatened to shoot us. And even tell us to walk towards the boat that is going. So I can...
To walk towards...
The boat
that is already
going. Okay. So they were behind us, kicking us and then beating us. And at even some point with their, guns, they have to, give us space and tell us, this is our last warning. They give us space, stand there and then threaten to shoot us. At that point, I just have to say my last prayers and say, that's the end of me in the journey. Luckily, I was able to escape from there. Okay. And then they take us they put in their boat and then go towards the other boat and then we find our fellow migrants. We enter there and then continue to...
So they voluntarily put you in a boat?
Yes.
To go to the boat that you were in?
Exactly.
All of you?
Exactly.
All the 10 of you?
Yeah, all of us.
So from there, from that encounter, do you still have in mind, let me proceed with the journey, or at this time, you already regretted your decision?
Well, at that time, I don't regret my decision. Because
you still want to go
I still wanted
further.
to go. Because what I believe at that time, I am embarking on the journey. When I die, my family or everybody, even God will know that I did not go to do something bad. I went for a struggle and I couldn't make it. So I believe in mind that it's egala or a day. Those are the two things there. So if I escape this one, I might also escape the next problem coming.
Is that a common slogan among
It's a common slogan among youths. You will...
Agalambadi.
Exactly.
So those are the two slogans.
Exactly. Just as how the Senegal will call it, Baka wala Barsak. Reaching or else we die. So this is the slogan that I have. You'll be motivated when you are among the people.
Wow.
And when you try to be somebody who's very, trying to give up, you see people motivating you.
So from the rebel encounter and everything, how was the atmosphere like in the boat from there? Do you see people who still, because you must have seen people crying, others were like, I want to go back.
What happened was, it was trouble because some of us, the Gambians, we gather all our money and give it to one guy we call our leader. And we say when the rebels come, we're going to give it to him. So other nationalities, they did not do that because they have the money, they were not united. They give out the money, and the captain retained them in the boat. And most of us who were out were the Gambians. So we negotiated until everything didn't go well. They have to give everybody back your money. For me, I did not contribute because I did not have anything. And the little that I have, I cannot pay it and then leave my friend there. So basically, when you go back to the boat now, the fighting started. We started fighting with the Malians who were there. We started fighting with the Ivorians. Why? Because we said we all should have been united and die together. But they cannot just pay, remain in the boat, and then rebels take us out asking money from us. So this is how we fight. And then, it was very chaotic. The boat will be going this way and the other way. But unfortunately, we were able to calm the situation. And that's how we proceed and then arrive in Timbuktu.
Timbuktu.
Exactly.
Wow. At this point, how was your feeding and food, water and everything? How was it like?
Well, at this point, it was normal and we were able to get food that we eat because...
You didn't run out of food?
No, we didn't run out of food because we spent about 3 days from Sevari to Timbuktu. Where the problem happens is in the Sahara. That's where we mostly encounter food problem.
So after now, Timbuktu, upon reaching Timbuktu, what next?
Well, when we reached at Timbuktu, we were parked in a truck and then taken to one destination. We normally call it Foyer. It's a camp where these agents used to put us together. Just an empty compound with no buildings, and then we'll be put there together. So when we arrived there, we were supposed to cross the Sahara Desert. And that was the most painful part of the entire journey. And that's the place that I even put in my mind that all of us believe that the most painful part of the journey is the Sahara Desert. Once you escape the Sahara Desert, you have nothing to think about.
Really?
That is what we believe in mind, and that's the common slogan among us at that time.
The Sahara.
The Sahara Desert. So in the Sahara, there we were there for some time, and then we were to go. We arrived there on a Saturday, and we were to cross the Sahara Desert. Our agent started delaying us, and then we protested because we were under an agent who was a Malian. So when we protested, that guy had to hand us over to the Arab guy we call Ahmed Nar. Anyway, was the agent. And that guy, they control us. They have their weapons with them, so they don't negotiate anyhow.
The agents also have weapons?
Yes, of course. That's the only place where I see, people moving with weapons, and it's normal.
And it was normal?
Yeah, because it's controlled mostly by the militias who are normally against the government. So this is how we, from Timbuktu then, we crossed the Sahara Desert. But like
you also paid money. At this time, do you have anything to pay? Are you required to pay another amount to proceed?
Well, we pay once. We pay from Bamako all the way to the first village in Algeria.
Okay.
So that is the payment that we have. Apart from that, the only thing that we can do next is to just buy our food and then cross the Sahara Desert. There was a little argument and a delayance. And then from there, we have to move forward because the agents were telling us the Sahara is very dangerous at this very moment. There are a lot of accidents. And we said, no matter what, we have to go. Momo ila harjo, everybody, wherever you are to die, you're going to die there. So we entered the Sahara Desert with some ladies with us. We were put in a truck, behind a pickup force at the first stop. 45 of us were put behind a truck. But to my surprise, behind a pickup.
You were separated? You were 200 at the beginning?
At the 200 from Sevari going to Timbuktu.
Okay.
When we arrive at Timbuktu, everybody go to your different agent.
Okay.
For us at that time where we were, our agent moved us. Other agents also will send their people. Now all these people will all pass through the same smugglers in the Sahara Desert. It's controlled by the Tuaregs. So in the Sahara Desert, that's the first thing that I see immediately when I was put behind this particular pickup. When we entered the Sahara Desert, the only thing I could observe around were tombs, graveyard. To me, most of them could be migrants, but you could see the graveyard. And from that place, we moved to another place we call Inafar inside the Sahara Desert. That's where they have their big rebel camp and very
inside
the Sahara Desert, very equipped with weapons. And that's where they loaded us in this truck that take us for 7 days across the Sahara Desert. And I was lucky to stand on top of a barrel. In that barrel, I was able to see what was happening outside. But because of the hotness of the temperature, all my skin was burnt, and the sideways, anywhere I touched in the metal, it burned my skin throughout. And we stopped only once in a day. When we begin to go like 11th, we'll stop 11 at night. Once in a day, that we will stop. And
to have food and then ease yourself?
Well, to have food, what you normally do, you don't have access to the food because all the bags, they park them at one side. And you'll be standing like this. Somebody also will stand beside you, until it fit the truck. And then they also have another line. So this is how it was going. So the food, what you're gonna do, you'll stock in.
You were 45?
No, 179 people in the truck.
Truck? How big was the truck?
The truck was very limited. I normally see those kind of a truck here. It traumatized me. I would say this was exactly the size of the truck that 179 people were put here. They aren't just like standing. You stand here, somebody will stand here, somebody will stand here.
Next to you.
Next to you, until that gap is full, and then somebody also will sit at the other side of it. So basically, this was how we were being arranged until the truck was full. So luckily, I happened to waste time and stand on top of it. They have 3 barrels. Those barrels is where they put water for us.
Okay.
So I had the opportunity to stand on top of that barrel. We stop once in a day. And the food that we have, we normally put stock in properly. You put your food there, your biscuit and whatever, because you don't have the chance to even tell somebody, okay, get up, let me get my food.
Food, okay.
Exactly. And water also, you just tie the water on a rope and then hang it on your body. When you want to drink, somebody will just help you to drink, but basically you don't have the chance to drink
by yourself.
By yourself.
So someone has to help you.
Help you. And it was very chaotic because the dust were there, people were very exhausted. And for me, the 3rd day of the journey in the Sahara Desert, there was a time when my food was finished. I was very hungry and then weak. So when the bus stopped, when the truck stopped for us to get water, the water like is put on this barrel of petrol, and the petrol are not cleaned properly. So the water is mixed with the petrol and very dirty. So it's what they give us, the Evian bottle of water once in a day at the beginning of the journey. As the journey continues more, the Evian bottle is half of it that you'll be given to spend for the whole day in the Sahara Desert.
What?
So this is exactly what we went through. And the 3rd day, my food was finished. I was very weak. And then when the truck stopped, I just have to go lie down there. People were lying down in the ground. And I called my friend. That's the first time I revealed my identity. I told them that, okay, I am a Gambian, and this is my name. This is where I come from. I can no more make it in the journey. So please, if you happen to survive here, go to the media, type anywhere you type that Mr. Penn was on the journey, he could not make it. You will see somebody who tell that I knew this guy, and the news will reach my family. Because to me, that was the end of me. Fortunately, I could not do anything. People were struggling for water. I was lying in one place. And luckily, there was one Guinean who had some kind of medicine, give it to me. And 4 pieces of biscuit that one of my friends went round, the people who have left with some food, take those pieces of biscuit and
4 pieces of
biscuit, soak it in water because I could not be able to chew anything. I was very dehydrated, even have saliva was my problem.
Wow.
Soak it in water, give it to me, and that's how I went unconscious. To me, that was the end of me. But fortunately, later I just happened to see myself on the truck again, and the journey continues.
So how was it like, the other people in the truck? Do they also have similar situations?
Exactly. Everybody was exhausted. Luckily, we don't have people who die in our truck, but we could see other people who die in other truck, like in the Oasis, where it stopped once and then get the water from there. The rest of the journey, there is no water. You could see the surrounding is, full of tombs and then, graveyard of dead, migrants who have been buried there. And sometime while I was on top, I could observe one of the truck that we have been told had an accident there. It had a mechanical problem, and most of these migrants died there. So I could observe them, their dead corpse, and then surrounded the truck. And as you go in, you would see a lot of, people died in the Sahara Desert, but there's nobody to reveal it because they even take our mobile phones. So
they don't allow you to even...
They take our mobile phones, they beat us, and they threaten us with guns because they have their guns with them.
So after telling me this, it seems like, is it safe to say that most of the people that die in the Sahara Desert, not the sea?
Yes, to us, and personally, somebody who has passed through the Sahara Desert, spent there 7 days, the difficulties and the number of people that die there, to me, I can conclude are more than the people who die in the sea. But because in the sea, people can get the records where the boat departed, and people can get sometimes videos access to it. This is why is that message that always comes out, forgetting what exactly happened in the Sahara Desert. So this is what is the reality down there.
Wow. Okay, so after spending, how many days did you spend in the Sahara?
I spent 7 in the Sahara Desert. We arrived in Algeria. From Algeria, we moved from one destination to another until Tunisia.
So all of you survived the Sahara?
Yes, 179 of us
survived.
When we reached, yes, we survived the Sahara Desert, but I know some of them were very weak that I doubt whether they would be able to make it from there onwards.
Wow.
So that is how we crossed to Algeria. From Algeria, from one place to another, The only difficulty that we could face in Algeria was that we walked for hundreds of kilometers. Every single day we have to walk throughout the night. When it's daytime, we hide somewhere in the mountains. Nighttime, we continue walking. From one place to another, we sleep in mountains, we hide.
So Algeria to where? Where were you going to?
From the first village in Algeria, they are border with Mali, to the last village, to the last town in Algeria between them and Tunisia.
Okay.
We call it Tebessa.
So you walk, you don't have vehicle or anything?
We move from Bors to Tamaracet. There's an airport that we need to deviate our barracks. Anytime they tell you deviate our barracks, know that they have to make you guys to walk for a very long distance. You'll walk for a very long distance. Somebody will lead you. When that guy is tired, you're only going to see somebody come and join you until, Acha, Ale, let's go, continue. When that guy is tired, somebody also will join you among the smugglers. That's how it goes. It's just like you're going to Basse. Somebody will take you all the way from here to Foni. Somebody take you from there to Mansa Konko, and somebody will take you from there. It continues up to Basse.
So at this point, because you did mention that the third day of the journey at the Sahara, your food finished.
Exactly.
How did you manage to survive?
Well, the little that I used, because that was the fourth day of the journey, we were left with only about 3 days. Some of my friends were having food. So this is where we Gambians, we always help each other. Alanganyo Mako was our slogan there. So we help one another.
How many Gambians were you?
I cannot count number of Gambians that were those that were there. But the time I was departing the Gambia, our bosses were 8 bosses at the time. We departed and we all have to stop at the Sabi border. And in that Sabi border, all the bosses that stand there to pass through the normal immigration process, we counted, we are 8 in numbers and we interacted. But the number of Gambians that I met in the bus from here all the way to Tunisia and return back to the Gambia, we were 9. We never leave each other. We always move together. Every difficulty that I explained, we passed through the same thing until back home to the Gambia. Some of them are back, 9 of us. But other Gambians that we met in the journey, I don't know where they were about.
You also met other Gambians in the journey?
Yes, there are many Gambians in the journey.
Do you know some of them?
Yes, at some point, funnily, I met 2 of my students in the journey.
Your students?
Yes, those that I taught when I was a TT.
Wow.
One of them came back with us, but the other one, I don't know the whereabout. So this is basically how the journey was across the Sahara Desert. That is the most painful part of the journey, like I said. I was able to manage to go up to Tunisia, and that's where I was captured for 3 days, imprisoned without proper food, and from there, they sent us back to the Sahara, back to the forest, and tell us to walk. And we walked for almost 3 good days before we reached back, before we go back to the same place in Algeria where we departed. Then Algeria also, they take us from there, one prison to another, from one prison to another, until they reach the border with Niger and dump us in that Sahara Desert. And then we walk towards the first Sahara Desert village in Niger called Asamaka. And there you find a lot of Gambians who have been stranded there. Some lose their memories. Some are used to the journey. Some feel too shy to come back looking at what their family spent on them. So it becomes a cycle again. From there you see agent who will be encouraging you, I can now take you back to where you come from. And that's how the cycle continues in the journey. But personally...
That is in Niger?
In Niger, yeah. A village called Asamaka. It's in the desert.
And a lot of Gambians are there?
A lot of them are there. For us, the number of Gambians that were deported there by the Algerians were 230-something. Those that we were able to count were 230-something because we were a very large number of it, almost 100 bosses, because what they do is that when they capture all the people in the entire month, all their prison will send all the migrants they capture in the place we call Tamaracet. Then there they have these long trucks that they'll put the migrants in and then head to the Sahara Desert. They border with Niger, is where they will now dump you and then direct you there and watch you guys walk towards that village. When you arrive there, that's where you have the IOM camp that helps.
So these people that actually imprison you, Are they officials or they are the
rebels? Of
rebels?
They detain us. No, rebels. The only place we encounter rebels were the Sahara Desert. They are the one who control the movement of people.
The rest was officials of these governments.
Yes, from the government. In Algeria, it was the government, and I can remember what they wrote at the back of their shirts were BRI. They're just like our paramilitary officers. In Tunisia, they were the National Guard that imprisoned us there.
So how was the prison conditions like?
In Algeria, it was very, what I can say, it was very difficult. It was like a big hall. In that big hall, they put everybody there. And now, both women, children, sick people, pregnant women, everybody in that big hall. And then they'll give us a little food. That's how the prison situation was there. And to my surprise, the people, you will meet a lot of Gambians there who are in prison. Some have been there for years, some have been there for months. I met somebody who has been there since 2013. He said he will never come back to the Gambia. He rather prefer to die than to come back to the Gambia.
Wow.
Because the time he spent there and the money family spent, he cannot just come back home like that.
Oh my God.
So this is the situation of the Gambians down there.
So, but throughout the journey, did you see anyone or any group die right in front of you?
Of course, yes. What I can observe personally, when we were dumped at the Sahara Desert, in the forest by the Tunisian authorities, so that we can walk back to the other side of the Algerian part of the forest, I could observe around dead bodies because I understand it's a place where they will dump the people and now will direct you to walk towards the other side of the Algeria. So I could see around dead bodies of people. And in the first place where I encountered that also was when we arrived at Algeria, the first village, we were to move from Tamaracen to another place. And there's an airport, we were asked to climb the mountain and then go down the mountain. That will take us at half of the night so that the cars will go to the other side and they wait for us there. So there are these mafias, there are a number of migrants themselves who've been in the journey for a long time. They cannot go and they don't have the money. They organize from one place.
Their journeys.
Yes. So they are one of the Gambian was stamped.
This is crazy.
For us, they get down and these particular mafias, attack them. They were fighting back. One of them ordered they run and climb the mountain. And for him, he was stamped very seriously.
A Gambian.
A Gambian. I don't think he would be able to make it because they stamped him very seriously. The remaining, those of us who didn't get down, from the mountain, we stood on the mountain and then hold our, have stones around us. And we said, if these people attack us, we have to continue to beat them. We have to continue to stone them. So this is the first time I witnessed a Gambian die. But as time goes, it becomes a normal thing that I get used to. You see people being sick. Seeing dead bodies, seeing people being sick. They only feel it when they are Gambians, to me. But when they are not Gambians, I have a little feeling about it.
So how does that make you feel psychologically?
At some point, I was traumatized. It affected me more when I returned, but not when I was in the journey. When I was in the journey, I don't want to hear about any danger. I don't want to hear anything like death and so on. It's normal to us. It was our companion. At some point, we say, the only thing that can free us here is death. So death was our normal companion. It was our savior. Not people can free us here, not our government, not our family members. But when we die, the difficulties will stop. That was the belief I have in mind and many others.
So from Niger, what happened? You got back again?
Yes, from Niger, I passed through Benin, Togo, Burkina Faso. I come back to Mali. From Mali, I come back to the Gambia.
Gambia.
Yeah.
So at the time when you came back, did your family members, they knew that you went through this journey, right?
Yes, nobody knew I went to the journey. Few of my family members, until when I returned. And until and unless when I speak about it for my first interview that I did, where I talk about the journey, but nobody can tell you that I went to the journey. People can have only speculations, but they don't know I went to the journey because nobody knew about me. And the journey was very short for my time. I spent 55 days in the journey to reach from the Gambia to Tunis, from Tunis back to the Gambia.
55 days.
Exactly.
So when you came back, how were you able to integrate back to society again?
Well, this will remind me of the article that I wrote like, surviving the Sahara. The news of my demise reached me in a foreign land. When I come back anyway, I rejoice in my resilience. I take pride in my journey, and then I celebrate my return. because I know there are thousands who were there who were not able to make it back home. So the first news that attacked me was that the news that spread here is that I have died in the back way.
Oh, wow.
And people directly will come to me and confront me, ask me the same question I had, that you died in the back way, Johnny. Some show me pictures of decayed people and tell me, somebody showed me this picture and say, this is you. So this was the trauma that I have. I find it difficult to integrate in society, but also my family were always helping me. They were by my side, most especially my mom. She don't allow me to be anywhere. But from there also, I got sick. I was not able to walk. I was not able to do anything for myself. So this was the life after the journey. It's also another painful part of the journey when you return home.
So you did mention that you met the IOM.
Exactly.
In Niger.
Yeah.
Are they the ones that?
No, when I met them in Niger, I was very weak, and I know at any point of the journey I may become sick. So I have to just convince my family members and then rely on friends and other people who can help me to come back to the Gambia by sending me money. So that's how I managed to come back to the Gambia.
So you came back without the help of IOM?
Yeah, I came back without the help of IOM.
And when you also got back, you did not, you know, they have a program where they reintegrate migrant returnees and all of that.
Well, I think at some point I was able to, I'm working with them currently as a UNV volunteer, United Nations volunteer under IOM. And then, though I approach other institutions, I approach other institutions instead of IOM, but my main interest was how to get the support to go to university. This is why my target was institutions that could provide me with a scholarship that I'm still struggling with.
You still could not have anyone to sponsor you to go to the university?
No, I still don't have it. If you could remember, I once attended a class with you. This semester, I started last semester.
Really?
After 1 month, I know that I don't want to cheat the system, going to the university, teaching. Children will sometimes be waiting for me in class. I think I have to defer my university course and then wait for a scholarship. And the next semester is coming to begin. I still don't have any scholarship. But this time I say no matter what, I have to try to at least push forward and then see how best I can be able to pay for myself bit by bit. So this is exactly what I am going through anyway, but I take pride in the journey, like I said. So I'll just use this opportunity to appeal to the government, to the Ministry of Higher Education, and the philanthropists anyway, to come forward and help me with my university education. Basically, I can manage to pay for myself, but it's going to be very much difficult if I want to take it along with my job.
Which course are you studying at the university?
I'm studying political science at the University of the Gambia.
Okay.
And I was inspired by the journey. What I see there, governance, politics, geopolitics, is what inspired me to study political science.
Which year are you in?
I'm in my first year.
You are in your first year.
Exactly.
So as we speak now, you don't have any source of funding for the upcoming semester?
Well, not yet.
Okay.
I don't have any source of funding, but I already put some amount of money inside to enable me to start the university. Provided I'll be able to complete at least the remaining fee for the semester, I'll be able to at least go for complete the next semester. But as we speak, I don't have any guarantee that I can be able to pay my 4 years university education as we speak, as a returnee anyway.
So how does that make you feel? The reason why you actually embarked on this journey in the first place was because you thought maybe, just maybe, that you will have the opportunity to pursue a higher education. You know, but that was not the case. You came back home after spending 55 days in the journey. You got back home, but you still finding it very, very difficult to pursue your higher education.
It's very difficult for me, but what I have learned outside also gives me the resilience and strength to bear whatever difficulty that comes along the journey. So I have some migrants who look up to me and think everything is fine with me because I speak about it. I speak about, some will even reach out to me and tell me, you are a returnee, I'm also a returnee, how can you help me? I want to do business, I want to do this, thinking that everything is okay with me. But I always give them motivation. So it's very difficult for me, but I don't also give up in it. I believe that in one way or the other, the struggle, the patience that I take in the journey, that I bear in the journey, the endurance, I have to replicate the same thing in whatever difficulties that come, as long as there's no gone point on me to complete my education. I think as time goes on with time, I can be able to at least go bit by bit.
You are definitely someone who deserves support if there is any that should be given.
Exactly.
So do you have any QCell number that you can give out to maybe the government, maybe they're watching, some kind individual philanthropist can support you, continue your higher education?
Well, yes. Like I said, I have my QCell number, which is 3315180, 3315180. But sometimes also, like I said, I've also reached 180. 3315180.
Okay.
At some point also, I've reached out to the Minister of Higher Education.
Okay.
I'm hopeful that provided they are following the program, they will be able to at least fast track my application.
Right.
I have reached out to them through the PS, the Permanent Secretary, Jenaba Janj. And hopefully I've also explained the same story, and I'm hopeful that at least if there's any scholarship to be offered, I think they will consider somebody who went through the journey for the same problem, come back home, and still refuse to keep quiet, but to use his story to inspire young people to focus on building their dreams here in the Gambia.
Thank you very much, Modou Ceesay. Honestly, I sincerely wish you all the best in life, and I just hope that and pray that you have the scholarship to actually continue and finish your university education and then have what you really aspire to be in the future. And viewers, this is all we have time for, but again, let me just repeat his number. If there is anyone out there who really wants to support Modou Ceesay here, continue his university education, you can reach him at 3315180, 3315180. This is all we have for you in this edition of the Youth Dialogue. Until we come your way next week for another edition of the Youth Dialogue. Bye-bye.